What's up everyone? So today we're gonna be doing my wrap up for February. It's just so weird to say this because it's like February 11th. Yeah, today's the Super Bowl. But anyway, I am doing my wrap ups differently this year where I film every single time I finish a book. So that way I can remember my thoughts and it's just easier to do with a baby because I already have then my wrap up done at the end of the month and I just have to edit it and get it up for you guys. So I actually wanna talk about 3 books so far. I know. I should have filmed this a couple days ago, but I actually read my first 3 books of the month like very quickly, and then I kept forgetting to update, and I haven't started a 4th book yet. So we're gonna talk about 2 nonfiction books and a fiction book. Now the nonfiction books, they were the first ones that I read kind of because I listened to them on audio, and they kind of are like sister books. They're written by the same author. So I read The Lazy Genius Way and The Lazy Genius Kitchen. And I actually had The Lazy Genius Way as a buddy read for Patreon. It was my nonfiction buddy read because I usually do a fiction and a nonfiction. We are doing a glow up challenge this month. I'm also getting my hair cut this month. I'm getting my eyebrows waxed and tinted later this month. I'm so excited. But we're all kind of focusing on what we want to do. A lot of us are doing skincare. Anyway, so we were reading The Lazy Genius Way because of that. And I absolutely love this book. I know that some people just do not like self-help nonfiction books, but if you have to read a self-help book, like make this be the only one that you read. 5 stars to this book. It was absolutely amazing, hence why I read the kitchen version of it. Now the kitchen one, I don't know, for me, I am a home cook and I have like a lot of years of experience. I actually have a culinary arts degree if you didn't know that. And so for me, I think that that one, I would only rate it a 3, but I do think for a beginner, especially one that does not cook at all, it was super helpful. It was just too broken down. I mean, she's like talking and explaining like most simplest of things. So for me, it was kind of boring, the kitchen one. So I'm gonna give that one 3 stars, but it still would be really great for someone that maybe has a hard time meal planning, doesn't understand how to make time for cooking, doesn't know, like they're just overwhelmed with what sauteing means compared to stewing, compared to grilling, like all that stuff. It really does break it down and it does have some good tips in it. But The Lazy Genius Way is just so good, and I actually want to like either re-listen to it or get the physical copy and take notes because there were so many tips in it that I thought were great. So the whole principle of this book is that if you take the lazy approach to everything, you're probably gonna feel like shit just because your house is a mess, you look like a mess, you know, you're that hot mess type of mom, you're never able to get things done or you're late to things or whatever. That's like the lazy version. But then, you know, if you take the genius approach, there's no way that you can get all the things done the way that you want and still be able to function. Like, you know, you would be a robot, you would not have any fun, there would not be any time for anything. I mean, there's just no way to get everything done. So her approach is that you are a genius for things that you really care about, and then you take a more lazy approach, or you take like shortcuts for things that you don't care about as much. And I absolutely love this because there are certain things that I care, like I care about a clean house. I really like order, even with a baby, like I'm constantly picking up toys because that matters to me. Like I don't want to step on toys on my floor. I also really love like baking bread or making home cooked meals. So I will spend more time doing something like that. Because you can't do everything, then I look like this because I'm spending time on like making home cooked meals and stuff, but not spending time on like getting ready. And that's totally fine. Like she is saying, one thing doesn't make you a better person than somebody else. It's the fact that you need to pick what you think is important to you and then just don't care about the things that aren't important to you. Yes, I would love to like curl my hair, put on makeup every day, you know, do all that stuff, but it's just not something that I care that much about to put in that much effort for it. But what I really liked is like the tips that she gives for each thing. So for instance, I would like to care a little bit more about my appearance, and I am working on those things this month by chopping off all of my dead hair that postpartum gave me. Like this is all just a tangled dead mess, thank you. It's just crazy how much your body changes. But she talks about how, okay, if getting dressed is something that is, you know, really hard for you to think about, but you do want to do it, then come up with like a uniform, even if it's just a uniform for Monday. She said for the last 3 years, she has a Monday uniform, which is just jeans and a black t-shirt. It might be different shirts, but it's always like jeans and a black shirt of some sort. And then you always have like, you can have your same pair of shoes with it. You can have the exact same, like the necklace that you wear with it all the time, the hairstyle that you do with it all the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is literally genius. That's what I want to do. So I mean, I'll start probably with just like a couple. I literally wear the same like leggings and t-shirt every single day because my hair is just a tangled mess. It's either down in tangles or it's up in a tangled bun. Once I cut it off, I'm gonna be doing my curly girl hair again because it's so much easier with short hair. I was like, okay, I'm going to come up with outfits but with leggings because I like to be comfortable. You know, I'll have my like little everyday makeup or whatever, and then I have this put together look and I didn't have to think about it. So that is just a very small snippet of like a tip that was in there that I was like, I could definitely make this work. Like I could do this because then every single Monday, I don't have to think, what am I gonna wear today? What will I feel comfortable in today? What if I have to go somewhere? Like I don't wanna be a bum, but then I still look like a bum because none of my clothes fit, you know? And so I absolutely loved this book. So good. Definitely read it if you can, listen to it if you can. She also has a podcast I've been listening to, but highly recommend it. Okay, and then the third book that I have read so far was actually an ARC, and I finished it the day it came out. It came out February 6th. It was The Teacher by Freida McFadden. Now, it's actually interesting because I have seen a lot of hate for this book. Like, every single like review that I have seen on like TikTok or scrolling on something, people are giving this book like 1-star ratings. I actually gave it 4 stars. So I just think, and like I did this without even seeing any of the hate yet because like I read it before it came out and I thought it was actually pretty good. Like I read it in a couple days. It really kept my attention. It was entertaining. Now the ending wasn't something that was like, oh my gosh, this is so shocking, but I really liked the trope that was in it, which I guess is what's controversial and why people are rating it bad stars. I would tell you what it is, but I feel like it's a very big spoiler. I feel like not knowing what it's about is much better when you're like reading it because I didn't know that that's what it was when I was reading it. To just clarify that you should definitely go in with trigger warnings because it is a topic that, I mean, it's been written about many times before, but it's definitely a topic that you wouldn't want just anybody, you know, going into. It reminds me kind of Riverdale season 1. I think I've only seen 2 seasons, but it has that vibe to it. It has some other show vibes that I've seen, but if I tell you, it would really give it away. But I thought it was very easy reading, very entertaining the whole way through, or most of the way through. So I gave it 4 stars, and you know, it's kind of funny because other than The Housemaid, like I loved The Housemaid, a lot of other people love The Housemaid, but a lot of people like Never Lie, and I actually really didn't like that one, and I didn't like The Inmate. It's so funny that I'm like liking different Freida books than like the rest of the world. All right, so that's my update, and I will see you the next book that I finish. Okay, so I'm here to talk about the last 3 books that I read in February. So I read First Lie Wins, which was the buddy read in my Patreon, and unfortunately, I only gave this book 1 star, and it was a struggle to get through. I had started this book about halfway through February, and it took me the whole rest of the month and just constantly making myself like read it and listen to it because I just did not like it that much. It was so boring. This is supposed to be kind of like a con artist thriller where someone has like different aliases that they use in order to do like these con artist jobs, and there was just way too many timelines of going back and forth, and because of all the different names that they were using, it was so hard to keep track of everything. But it also was just so boring in general. So I gave it 1 star because if it wasn't for a buddy read, I would have definitely DNF'd it. And there wasn't one single thing that I liked about that book, which is so crazy because I feel like so many people raved about it. And so I don't know if it's just a me problem or if everyone is just like hyping it because a couple people hyped it, so they think they have to hype it. I don't know, but I just did not like this one. Then I bought and read Real Food for Fertility. Now, I'm just gonna quickly go over this because many of you probably don't care about a book like this, but this author, Lily Nichols, I actually own her book, Real Food for Pregnancy, and I read it and followed a lot of it throughout my pregnancy, and I absolutely love that book. So when I saw that she came out with a fertility version, and although I do IVF to have kids, I have been looking for a book like this for years. Like ever since, you know, we had infertility problems, I've been looking for a nice book like this that was going to just tell you how to prepare your body to be as healthy as possible, maybe be able to fix some issues. We have male factor infertility, but this book does have a whole chapter about how to fix that issue as well. This book also has a whole chapter about PCOS. I know a lot of people might struggle with that, but what I really like about this is the fact that there is a whole section on how to like prepare your body to get pregnant, especially after you've been pregnant. So like, even though I do IVF and I will have to do IVF again in the future, I am very like depleted in minerals and nutrients right now because the last whole 2 years I went through IVF, I got pregnant, and then I breastfed for 9-ish months, and that takes a really big toll on your body. And so this is going to be like super helpful in the next year or two when I am trying to build back my nutrient stores and get ready to sustain another pregnancy, because you are just very depleted after pregnancy and breastfeeding. And so that's why I got this book, and I really did like it. I gave it 4 stars. It's a little bit sciencey, which is why I didn't give it like a full 5 stars, because there's just a bunch of, you know, things in there where I felt like I couldn't appreciate because it's like so sciencey. In the grand scheme of things, this can be very beneficial for anyone. Even if you are going through IVF, there could be something in here that you didn't know about or that you didn't realize could fix whatever issue you think. Or if you have unexplained infertility, this could be a really good book. All right, last but not least, I read Hunt, Gather, Parent, and I also rated this one 1 star. Again, I had kind of heard a lot of people raving about this book, but I do not think that this is a good parenting book. My eyes are watering. It's because I just had a coughing fit. Me and Alice have been sick recently, so I'm trying to get over that. But anyway, I'll just touch a little bit on this just because many of you might not be parents or care about what parenting books I'm reading. But number one, the author of this book only has 1 child, and just in my little bit of experience with myself being a first-time mom and having friends with multiple kids, I find that talking with people that have multiple kids give me a way better perspective and much better insight than someone that I talk to that only has 1 kid. There is just way more different, you know, experiences that parents have when they have multiple kids. There's just, I don't know, I just appreciate the advice more. So this author only having 1 kid and really only 1 perspective to go by, I just didn't really like that take on it. I also just could not find this book very believable. It's her going to these different cultures and witnessing like how they parent, and I just think that, you know, going to someone's house or country and watching them parent for 20 minutes or whatever it would be, I mean, there's no way you can get the full story, you know? People could come over right now. You know, Alice can be an angel around other people, or like if I take her out, she loves going out. You know, I can take her to the mall, I can take her to town, and she is just an angel baby when we're out and about. But like at home, she needs a lot more attention. And so it's like, you know, when you're around people, you're just not seeing the full story. So this whole book is based off of this author going out and witnessing other people parent. It seems like those kids are perfect and those parents are perfect and no one ever screams and no one ever yells and all the kids always listen. And I don't know, it just feels very fairy tale-ish. I believe that yes, you can have structure and discipline and things, but I don't know, it just seemed not my style. And then some of the things that she would say, she was like very broad about things. Like she said, children should absolutely not have toys because you want them to work along with you. Like if you're washing the dishes, have the kid wash the dishes with you. If you're vacuuming the floor, let the kid vacuum the floor with you. And like, yes, I actually agree to a certain extent. Like I love to clean the house and get my chores done. When my 10-month-old baby is awake, I throw her on my back. I wear a carrier a lot. She loves that. It's free entertainment. I get things done. And then when she's down for a nap, I will watch an episode of Love is Blind, or I will read a book that I really want to read, or I'll play the Switch, or I'll film a video. But do I think that my baby doesn't need toys? Do you think that I should get rid of every single toy that my child plays with? No, I don't know. And then there was this whole thing about how, you know, there might be times where you actually have to scare your child into submission by telling them that a monster is going to get them. It's just a lot of stuff like that. So anyway, 1 star from me. I just didn't find it a very useful parenting book. Do I have a lot of insight on what parenting book I'm looking for? No, not really. But reading it, I was like, this isn't for me. Okay, so I did do my reading planner this month. I didn't do like the filming updates within here because I thought that would be too repetitive. You can watch my January wrap up if you want to go look like all throughout my reading planner. I kind of like really focus on that in that video, and so you see it page for page. But I'm just gonna go over my reading stats here at the end. There were 5 books on my TBR that I was supposed to read that I did not read. Now I did add on 3 books that I read that weren't part of my TBR, but that means I have to do my punishment, and my punishment for this month was to clean out a closet and donate items. So here in March, I actually am going to be cleaning out our upstairs guest room, actually room and closet, because that's where I've been keeping all of Alice's like outgrown clothes and baby items. And so I got some like vacuum bags from the dollar store, and I'm actually doing a whole video of that whole process, but it is for my patrons. So if you want to become a patron, I have that link down below. It's $4.99 a month, and there's lots of things included in that. But anyway, that's my punishment, so I'm doing that for this month. I keep having this problem of like starting the month out with like reading really well and then getting into a slump and not really reading for the second half of the month. So I read 6 books total. That was 2,065 pages. 22 hours I listened to an audiobook. I read 1 physical book, 2 Kindle books, and 3 books on audio. That was 4 nonfiction and 2 thriller books. I saved $61.26 by using my library, Libby, things like that. So that is a very exciting thing, is figuring out how much money I've saved so far. I just felt like my January wrap up was so long because I had so much reading journal footage. But if you want to see like maybe at the end of the wrap ups, I just do like a flip through of all my pages. I don't really know what you guys are looking for or prefer. I didn't get a chance yet. I need to fill out the rest of February, which is pretty much all gonna be 0 pages read. But how cool is that? I love the little like, you know, color pixel thing going on there. I just need to make sure I read more to get more colors instead of always leaving half of a month with nothing read. Anyway, that's it. I will see you guys in another video soon. Bye everyone.